Welcome to the Pain Free for Good podcast, where we rediscover our body's natural ability to heal. This space is for those who have experienced chronic pain, illness, disease, or emotional trauma, and are ready to reclaim the power within themselves. Here, we explore healing, awareness, and the quiet wisdom already living inside of all of us. I'm your host, Heather Peterson, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the Pain Free for Good podcast. We are so excited to have you back with us. Today we have a beautiful guest. My good friend, former client, Jodi here is a wife, a mother of two, a functional health practitioner whose personal healing journey led her to discover the powerful connection between the mind and the body. After years of struggling with Hashimoto's, she realized that true healing wasn't just about nutrition, supplements, or lab work. It also required addressing chronic stress, limiting beliefs, unresolved emotions, and patterns that kept her nervous system in survival mode. When she's not learning about the body, she enjoys hiking, staying active, spending time in nature, traveling, and making memories with her family. Through mind-body coaching, Jodi experienced a profound shift in her health and her life. She says working with me through Pain Free for Good was a pivotal part of her transformation, inspiring her to integrate her functional health background with mind-body coaching in a more aligned way, addressing the body and soul and meeting her clients where they're at. She is passionate about sharing her story to inspire others to believe that healing is possible and that the body has an incredible capacity to recover when given the right conditions. Wow.
Yeah.
That is so awesome, Jodi. We are so excited to have you here. I first met Jodi through CrossFit years ago when I was a big CrossFitter. I loved watching her. She is strong. She is just an athlete in all respects and such a sweet, good, kind person. So I'm so excited to have you here, Jodi. We worked with each other how many years ago? I wanted to look before we got on here, but
yeah,
it's been several years.
2026, so maybe like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A while.
And currently Jodi is going through the mind-body coaching process to be certified under me. So I'm so thrilled. We've had some lovely conversations. We can talk for hours and hours. And so we're so excited to have her here today to share her story. So welcome, Jodi.
Thank you. That was such a generous introduction.
You bet.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to let her just, take the lead and talk to us. Let's walk down the path of your upbringing and what led you to having Hashimoto's.
Yeah. Kind of starting at square one. I think, number one, I had a mom that was always sick. So I don't feel like I necessarily had like a positive upbringing in like what health looked like. My mom was a wonderful person and she was actually a nurse, and she tried really hard to be healthy, but like she really had a lot of things stacked against her. She dealt with trauma in her childhood, abuse, sexual abuse. She really had like a rough upbringing, and she had a hole in her heart. She had an open heart surgery at 16. She had a near-death experience at 16.
Oh my goodness.
She had a brain tumor when I was probably around 12-ish. Luckily it was benign, but I think the more that I grow, the more I learn about inner child work and parenting and things like that. I do think, maybe subconsciously, like I had a little bit of, what does health look like to me?
Sure.
And just some struggles there. So I think also being raised in Utah as a girl and lots of perfectionism. I'm a Virgo as well. And so
That runs strong.
Yeah, that type. I wouldn't necessarily classify myself as type A, but I am like growing up as an athlete. So I also contributed this to like being like very driven. I started power tumbling at age 4 and was just highly competitive. And just competed my little heart out all the way up till I was like 12. And then I got into competitive cheer and just always wanted to be the best. And that was like so innate in me. And I think just part of my soul's contract here of just like learning lots of lessons. And I think so in comes, Hashimoto's. I was 20. When did I get diagnosed with it? No, I was older, 31-ish. Anyway, it was after my second child. And so I think just reflecting back, I also think postpartum Hashimoto's is very, very common because of the trigger of stress that it takes on your body. I think I might have had it earlier on because with my first child, didn't really notice like the major symptoms. Like I was actually in really good shape when I had my first. I was building muscle well, I had energy, but I always had I was always the girl that had gut issues. I had, acne. I had these early signs that my body was, I was breaking down. And then after my first, I didn't know if I had Hashimoto's or not. I never had any thyroid labs pulled. This was before I dove into functional health and whatnot. I couldn't produce breast milk. And that's like one sign that the body's under stress is, unable to produce breast milk. And so that was kind of sad, but I just kind of brushed it off because I didn't know about all these wonderful things. And so, yeah, I breezed through my life. But, I spent my years, like I said, childhood, adolescence, college. I was a former collegiate cheerleader, professional cheerleader. And so just performing at a high level.
Sure.
Lots of stress, but it was good stress to me. But still stress. And then started CrossFit, started competing in CrossFit. I mean, I'd even do CrossFit twice a day. I just loved it so much. It didn't feel like I was mistreating my body in any ways, but the body doesn't care. So then, like I said, I started having children, and that's when things really took a turn, and it forces you to slow down. And so by the time, I was like 3 months postpartum. This was 2019. So I had my second in August of 2019. Noticed that I was just like extremely tired. And I had like this pretty bad adrenal fatigue with both children. I'd remembered changing their diapers and just like swaying. The world would just be spinning and swaying because I was just so tired. But I just kind of white knuckled through things. And then, so after my second, my sister-in-law, she's an NP. She ran some labs for me because I was just like, things haven't felt right. And, I'm not bouncing back at CrossFit as much. I'm feeling weak. I feel like my lifts are going down, blah, blah, blah. And so she pulled my thyroid labs, and lo and behold, I had pretty high antibodies, TPOs, and then my thyroid markers didn't look great either. And so I was like, oh, crap. Like, what does that mean? And then, of course, you Google. You open Dr. Google immediately. And during this time, like, I was very much health conscious. Like, I knew I was in the world of macros, nutrition, exercise, personal training, CrossFit coaching. Like, I knew what health looked like, but I didn't know what functional health looked like. I didn't know mind body by any means. I didn't know root cause healing. Okay, so... But this, of course, me being also a 5/1 manifesting generator, I am a problem solver and a rabbit hole digger. I thought, okay, what's Hashimoto's? I'm going to find out everything about it. And I just dove right in. Numerous books, podcasts, all the things. And so, yeah, I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to, like, one thing, I don't know how this got instilled in me because my mom definitely didn't teach me this, but I think my parents showed me what not to do in life. I never accepted diagnoses.
Good.
So even though I, talk about having Hashimoto's, I never let it become my identity. And so I just thought, how am I going to overcome this? So just dove in deep, and that really started my spark of functional health and also wanting to help others too, because I think I've always just been passionate about coaching and helping others. So, I mean, I don't know, fast forward, I can't remember. So then it was 2020, and I just was kind of like cruising through life. 2020 happened. I think the stress of COVID and everything else has kind of, we can talk about this later, but I'm now seeing in my own practice with helping other women what long COVID is doing to the immune system. I also think that COVID kind of exacerbated a lot of autoimmune conditions for people. So reaching out to you, trying to think timeline wise, maybe around 2022.
Yeah, possibly.
So I don't feel like I ever really like suffered a ton from Hashimoto's, but I do remember my son, and this was like a big trigger for me because I remember my mom being this way. Jonah, my oldest, he was probably like 4 at the time or 5, and he's like, "Mom, why are you always tired?" And that hit me like a freaking dagger to the heart. Like I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like that's enough. I've had enough. I'm going to do something about this. I'm not going to be my mom." Because my mom was the type of woman that would go in her bedroom, usually every day, every weekend. We'd have plans, and she would just want to sleep. And that, yeah, like I said, big trigger for me. I'm like, I'm not going to be that person. And so that's when I started to dive in even deeper to functional health. I don't even know who I was talking to at the gym, but they're like, "You know what? You should go talk to Heather and learn about the mind body." And so I'm like, you know what? Cool. Okay. I don't have anything to lose here. Like, let's go. So I remember talking to you, first few sessions. I don't know. It was, I don't have a great memory of those years because I think I was living in such survival mode.
Sure.
But I just remember it was life-changing.
Yeah.
And I've been forever grateful. And I really feel like, after those few sessions and just learning how my thoughts and those repetitive thoughts and emotions were keeping me stuck, I physically felt this weight being lifted off my shoulders after just going through a few sessions with you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there was any specific thing that was really impactful that you learned?
Yeah, the one thing that truly stuck with me the most were energy checks, checking on my energy multiple times a day, and then the analogy of driving in your way home.
The bumpy road.
The bumpy road analogy. Yep. And I even now use that with my clients.
I love that.
Because it was so impactful because, yeah, I think every morning we wake up and we expect the same symptoms. We expect the same life. We expect, just to feel the same. But if we want to change, we have to we have to shift our identity. And I kind of, ever since I worked with you, even though like I was still in like infancy of like functional knowledge and health, and I wasn't even a practitioner yet, like I was still coaching women on how to shift their identity, which has stuck with me for so many years.
So cool.
Yeah.
So how quickly do you think you started noticing changes within your body and how you felt?
I would say like in a month. Like even like just after a few sessions, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like I feel like a new person."
Do you feel like there was a sense of feeling validated in the things you've been through with your past, or what do you think that shift was?
Yeah. Yeah, I think one, you're really easy to talk to. And so two, I also think that it was just so different from talk therapy because I've done talk therapy before, I've done EMDR before, and just something about the understanding how the brain works with mind body and how a lot of it's centered around breaking up with the victim. And I always thought to myself, "Oh, I'm not a victim mentality person. Like I'm aware, like, I mean, maybe I wasn't as much back then." I feel like there's been a lot of growth in the last 6 years, but yeah, I just, it was so tangible, and it just really propelled things than like talk therapy where you just like rehash.
Sure. So. You're actually doing actionable. I'm giving homework. I'm making you be accountable, but I'm holding your hand and I'm not beating around the bush. I'm saying, "Do you see this? Do you see this?"
Yeah,
and
that awareness piece.
The awareness is huge. And I feel like that's the biggest component when we're doing the mind body work is, oh, we're peeling back all these layers of the onion of what else is there? What else is there? What else can I let go of? What else can I just become more aware of? My daily habits, my daily thoughts, my daily beliefs, and my daily actions, and how are they giving me these same results that aren't working for me? And how can I change this, take the bumpy road, have new thoughts, new beliefs, new actions, and have new results?
Yeah.
Anything that you took from that, what new actions were you taking in your life, do you feel?
Yeah, I think, and I'm kind of in this now because I think people, like, we have to be reminded, and we go through the different waves and phases in our life, but it's almost like like I talked on the energy checks. it's recognizing and being aware. And I was telling you this on our mentorship call the other day. I'm like, it's almost like this physical pull that I'm catching myself in and pulling myself
Yes.
out of.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful for, I feel like that one is just such a big needle mover. I don't know what it is, but it's like, yeah, I'm literally pulling myself out of these funks and just these patterns. Because another kind of like my son, my oldest son, he's a little Gemini and he is my mirror. And he just spots my blind spots for me so much. He's the one, he's told me back then, like, Mom, why are you so tired all the time? Well, I can get a little bit cranky with them when they fight. And so I was raised in a house where my mom was a yeller. So unfortunately, I think I took on a little bit of that trait of like, when my nervous system is overloaded,
Sure.
that is how I feel like I'm heard, is by raising my voice. And, he will comment, Mom, like, why are you yelling so much? Like, stop yelling. And like, I love him so much for this because he helps me be such a better person.
Sure.
And so one day I was hiking down the mountain behind my home and I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to be this person anymore. I'm not going to be the yelling mom. And am I perfect pulling myself out of this? No, there's times where I still am, slip up and struggle, but it's the awareness.
Sure.
And that is like that physical pull that I'm like, I find myself with my kids, they're fighting. I'm starting to feel myself get agitated. And I just have to I've been catching myself of like, hey, I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause and I'm not going to react. So
I love that. And for those of you, I don't know, have I spoken on behalf of the energy check in my podcast? I don't remember if I have.
I don't know either. Shoot.
Well, let's just rehash it because I feel like it's such a powerful tool for those who, if I haven't spoken on it, this is great. If not, I'm sorry. This is a rehash. Okay. If you're not doing this, this is such a powerful tool, and I'll explain why. So what it is, you go into your alarms on your phone and you select 3 times a day and you put an alarm on it, and it's every single day, 3 times a day. You never turn it off. It's just always reoccurring. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years on my phone. And at the beginning, it was very hard for me to stop. And what you do is the alarm goes off. Hopefully you have like a soothing sound and not like the alarm goes off and you notice, am I holding my breath or am I breathing? How often are we just like in our mind, in our thoughts, and we're driving and we're dealing with, responsibility around the home, and we're holding our breath and we're thinking about things that are upsetting or the responsibility or something, we hold our breath when we're thinking stressful thoughts.
Yeah, checklist.
Yes. So the energy check is powerful to notice the breath. The breath is so powerful. It's the first thing we do when we're born, and it's the last thing we do when we leave this earth. And so why would it not be so beneficial for us during our lifetime? So that's the first thing you notice. Am I holding my breath? Am I breathing? The second thing I notice, am I ruminating about something?
Yeah.
Because I'm a projector, a 2/4 projector, and I have a tendency to be a little bitter and ruminate. It's such an awful habit, but I have overcome that in a huge way. But I'm not perfect. I get bitter sometimes. And so I notice, am I ruminating? Am I creating a story in my mind? And so what I'm doing in these energy checks is I'm saying, okay, what am I upset about? Is it even in my control? 900% of the time, it's not in my control. I'm telling myself I'm in control. I want to be in control. I'm trying to be controlling, or I don't want to be controlled. And so I'm really taking an inventory of what am I even thinking about? Is it even true? How am I feeling in my body when I believe that it is true? Am I feeling anxious in my heart? Am I having anxious thoughts? Is my heart racing? Is my stomach ache? Where is it I'm noticing it in my body when I'm doing these energy checks? And if it's not true, if these thoughts aren't true and I can't control them and I'm so focused on them, how can I shift out of them? How can I just take even 1 degree away from it and be like, okay, it's not in my control. People are going to do what they're going to do. I'm okay to just let things unfold with a little bit of courage, a little bit of willingness that I didn't have before. And I'm doing this 3 times per day. How different of a person would you be if you were to brake check yourself 3 times a day?
Yeah, I think it breaks up that monotony and that autopilot that so many people live with and on, and they just are zombies. They just kind of, I mean, even though like as much awareness coaching that I've received, there's still things I do on autopilot. And I think that's just that tool that's so easy to do that just can break that habit and create that 1% better, that 1% awareness every day.
Sure. And when I first started doing this, I will say Billy was not on board with my energy checks. He was like, what is the alarms for? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is for me. I am checking my energy. And eventually he did get on board. He did do it for quite a while. And my kids caught on. And I noticed their alarms going off. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm checking my energy. Or my little girl, Berkeley, my phone would be going off in a different room. She's like, Mom, check your energy.
I love it.
And so it's just a natural part of our household. You know, it's not weird. They understand. I'm telling everybody, okay, I'm driving. Everyone take a deep breath. I'm turning down the radio. You know, and we're reevaluating where we are. Maybe I'm driving like a mad mom and I'm upset about something and my alarm goes off and it's calling me out and it's saying, take a deep breath. Life is not so serious.
Yes. Oh, that's the theme of this year is stop taking life so seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we're on that, Jodi, you mentioned, you know, we fall back into our old habits, right? Mm-hmm. We are human. We have this natural tendency to fall back into old patterns. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you and I worked together for all of our sessions. And then a while later, you called me back.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think this is the ebbs and flows through life, and health is not a final destination. Mm-hmm. We are faced, number one, with aging. Mm-hmm. Aging will always continue to happen. That is an inevitable thing about being a human being, and our cells break down, our body is less resilient. So I think, you know, seeing you, saw some great changes. I went out, you know, and just tackled things on my own. But yeah, I think just things come up, different life circumstances. And so just checking in with you, needing some refreshers, it's just so beneficial and so helpful because, yeah, for anyone that ever thinks that health is a final destination, they've got like a big reality check coming to them. And so, you know, you are like my talk therapy, but it's so much greater than that. And I think just awareness, feeling validated, you know, saying things and just getting it off my chest.
Sure.
It's just, I don't know, it's just so beneficial for the nervous system.
Sure.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
What was the hardest part of healing that no one prepared you for?
The length of time, probably. Like nothing ever, I mean, I've never, well, I think me being a coach myself, I'm not like an impatient person because I've seen it on both sides with hundreds of clients. So I know that it's going to take a while, and I know the body is not an Amazon Prime delivery. But I would say, yeah, like, and even now, like there's things that still pop up here and there. And so that can be frustrating. But I'm so grateful for the tools that I have that I've learned about to just ground me.
Sure.
I feel like even just in this last year, that's been solidified even more just from the level of education that I've received from both like the functional, like 3D, you know, labs, protocol side and the mind body side, the soul, because I love spirituality. I love learning about, you know, inner child, soul's contract, you know, all of the woo woo stuff. Like I just mesh it together and it's just like this happy little family.
Yes, because it's not just the mind body connection. there is such a huge piece of that spirituality, that connection to who we divinely are inside,
Yeah.
right? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think, well, number one, like I stepped away from religion about 6 years ago. And no, longer than that, 9 years ago. And so, instead of like feeling lost, which a lot of people do, I know that leave a high demand religion, I turned to spirituality because there's a difference between religion and spirituality. I think you might have shared something on that just like recently, or it was
Possibly.
someone else. I don't know who it was, but yeah, like I just knew that I was just like this unique soul. And after reading different types of books, different styles of spirituality teachings, like I've just found, and oh, it was when my mom passed too. That's when I stepped out of this religion. And I read a book. Well, one, I got into reading near death experiences, which are like so fascinating to me. And then I read a book called Signs, and it's about a medium who works specifically for an organization where when parents lose children, which is so heartbreaking, but she just shares these countless stories of just, it's not a coincidence.
No, sure.
Of these signs that the other side is so close to us. And that gives me such peace. Because I have this belief. Everyone can have their own belief. Some people can still believe in Santa Claus. Some people can still believe in this God and that God. And, it's those beliefs. I have a belief that, we come here to learn. We have a soul's contract. We are supposed to experience certain things, learn certain lessons. But the biggest thing that has been shining through to me just over these years of work of, we are sent here to enjoy. Like life is meant to be enjoyed. And I think so many people forget about that.
Sure. And I think as a mind-body coach, I would say majority of people who come to me, they don't even know what enjoying life looks like.
Yeah.
They're in straight survival mode, either because their symptoms are so overwhelming that they can't enjoy life because they're just surviving, feeling good every day, or B, they're so type A personality, overachiever, perfectionism runs so deep in people with chronic pain and disease that they are just over functioning and they're missing the whole point, which is life is meant to be lived. So many of the people that have overcome pain are like, I didn't do anything special. I just pulled away all these limiting beliefs and then I just started living my life. I stopped taking life so seriously.
Yeah, it's simple.
It is so simple.
It's so simple.
But if you're not having that level of awareness where you're peeling back those layers, you'll never see it.
Yeah.
It will drive right past you and you'll be in your mind and that energy check is not going to see you at all and you'll miss the boat.
Yeah. Or you're so blind to it. Like I'll have clients that I'll ask them about their energy and where they're at and their stress, and they'll literally tell me, "Oh, I'm not that stressed," but their check-in tells me otherwise.
Yeah.
Or they'll tell me I'm not hypervigilant, but then they'll come and tell me how they just Googled and looked for 12 other things and coaches and different problems that could be wrong with them. I'm like, what? Like. And so this is the interesting, like we talked about this the other day on one of our calls. I'm like, there's an infancy to some people's souls where they just they're just not even aware.
Yeah.
And it's no fault of their own. It's just time.
Yeah.
And the right tools and the right education and like the right people and circumstances until they wake up to it. So.
Sure. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm curious if there is something that your body taught you that no doctor ever would be able to.
Yeah, I don't know if it was my body.
Or maybe your spirit.
Yeah, I think it's like this, like maybe my higher self just guiding me to different people, tools, books. So I think I was working with you maybe at the time, or maybe it happened afterward and I came back to you for a touch-up session. But herniated a disc in my back or bulged it, whatever the lesser one is. And the doctor, obviously, probably just trying to cover his butt, just was like, you're never going to heavy deadlift or back squat again. And I was like, I'm going to show you. And I spent the next month, I did get a cortisone shot to find relief initially, localized cortisone shot. And then I went and did positional release therapy. I went on a traction table. And then I also did a lot of visualization of visualizing my back expanding, visualizing like a golden light coming down on my back. And I was fine. Like and this doctor had the nerve to tell me that I'd never heavy deadlift and back squat again. And I'm just like, and then, he told me like, well, your discs are always just going to keep breaking down.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, well, if a bone can heal, why can't this heal? And he like couldn't really answer that for me. He's like, oh, they just work differently. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so I never believed my belief.
Yes.
I never believed him that I couldn't heal. And I think that played a major role along with like the other like 3D tangible things that I did. I think they all just played a role in helping me heal.
I love that. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject, you and I had a conversation the other day on our call about let's be real here. Let's be super real about what being pain-free for good means. Because some people believe, I mean, and I maybe did a disservice when I labeled my business, but that was 8 years ago and here we are. But being pain-free for good, I feel like is an emotional component and instead of physical, because physical things do come up. Jodi, do you have anything you want to share that maybe that has come up for you as well as, what you just talked about with your back? Is there anything that you've been able to get on top of and overcome?
Yeah, I think I just went through it like a couple of years ago. Like I had the Hashimoto's diagnosis. I really worked through that. I got my TPOs lower, like they were below diagnosable level. I felt better. And then, a couple of years later, and then this is where I think COVID, and this is where environmental factors still do play a role in the human body. And America is hard to be healthy in. We talk about this all the time and how expensive it is to be healthy in. It's not a coincidence that people go over to Europe or South America or, Costa Rica, wherever, and like they eat the food and they just feel so good.
Yeah.
So I do feel like there's a little bit of an uphill battle here. And then in comes COVID. And I don't think people are quite realizing what COVID, whether you got the vaccine or you just got the actual virus, is doing to the immune system in the body. So in my line of work where I am a functional health practitioner, we see tons of women. We pull lots of labs just to meet people where they're at and give them that tangible proof. I think COVID is taking a huge toll on people's bodies years later.
Oh, sure.
Like protein. And so something that I think I've been struggling with and haven't really thought that COVID was the issue until like this year when more research was coming out about it. I've dealt with SIBO, gut issues. I also think, there's a big emotional component to that because SIBO, while yes, there's so many root causes of SIBO, but the thing that keeps SIBO coming back after you like eradicate the bacteria is the nervous system. So yeah, I think as a human, and I don't know if I'm answering your question, this is the ebbs and flows of life.
Sure.
This is where we forget. This is where we can't we're not always on our A game. Life throws us curveballs and, like raising two little boys. I mean, I think, my nervous system was fried going through toddlerhood.
Oh, yeah. Anyone who survives that without anything is pretty special.
Yeah. I mean, I for my clients out there that have like 6 kids, I'm always like, bless you. Like your nervous system is shot. You've spent the last they have this span of childbearing years where it's like, I don't know what, like they've got like a 3-year-old and a 15-year-old or something. And it's just like, oof.
Yeah.
So, and then while that's not like uncommon, right? Like people have been having that many kids for hundreds of years, but it's the other issues that we have that we're faced with of comparison on social media, stressors environmentally, toxins, it's dysregulated circadian rhythm. We have all these 3D things that we're faced with. So yes, we have to think about the nervous system, because you can eat the perfect diet, you can take all the right supplements, but if your nervous system is out of whack, you will not heal.
Yep.
I talk about that till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah. What do you think your body was trying to communicate to you with your...
Yeah, with the, like, all my, like, the gut issues, I think I've had this underlying belief that I'm just the girl with the gut issues. And I've worked really hard on breaking up with that belief. But that one, so ages 0 to 7, right? Your brain is the most formidable.
Sure.
And then even 7 to 14, what happens in your childhood, like, that is the subconscious wiring. So I got food poisoning. Well, number one, I was born and could not be breastfed or formula fed. I had to get soy formula. Oh. So I always had this, like, lactose or dairy intolerance. And then I got food poisoning when I was in 4th grade. I remember this so vividly, from a hot dog. Or no, corn dog, sorry. And I went to primary children's, and they did, like, an endoscopy. And then from there, my mom put me on Nexium, a PPI, proton pump inhibitor. So she was just like, I shouldn't say she was just trying to do what she thought was best. Yeah, and was told. And gosh, I like to think that my body would have healed, because our bodies do heal given the right environment. But I think
the belief system was planted.
The belief system was planted, and I think that that's just something that has come up now in my late 30s, when my body is, you know, less resilient. My toxic buckets are overflowing, because that's what happens when we get into our late 30s. Our bodies, like, number one, our hormones are shifting, right? Like, we're entering into perimenopause.
We're at the age of responsibility.
Yeah, we're at the age of, yes, you talk about that a lot, the age of responsibility. We're caring for so many others, but this is where we just have to keep going. We just have to put one foot in front of the other. And life, it does a beautiful job of presenting us with tools, education, people, when we need it.
Sure.
And if we are looking.
Yeah. And if you're allowing, you're saying everything flows to me freely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
education. Yes.
Yeah.
So my question was, what was the body trying to communicate?
Oh, the body.
That your body wasn't accepting that belief system, I assume.
Yeah. I think it was trying to wake me up in the sense of, like, you know, you are not this. You are worthy. You are enough. You are whole in itself. Like, you can be whoever you want to believe you are.
Yeah, sure.
So
sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, you know, with life is beautiful that way, because I say this a lot, had I not had all these experiences, I wouldn't be able to help the people that I do. And I think that that is my life's calling, as hard as it is. And as like as testing, and, you know, it's not easy helping people with, it's heavy. It's heavy work, because you can be very empathetic, you can be very sympathetic, and sometimes you end up falling in the water with these people. I've had to, the woman I work for, she's amazing. She's given me a great analogy of, you do not need to jump in the pool with these people. You can throw them the life preserver and still be there for them. Yeah. And I that always just, like, comes up whenever I'm helping people, whenever I'm, like, feeling so deeply for them, and also feeling frustrated for them that they're not healing on the timeline that they want to. So yeah, life is beautiful that way, of just, like, meeting the right people and that divine timing.
Sure. And that contract that they have is their own contract. Yep. You can't adjust their contract. You can't adjust what they're here to learn. It might take them years. It might take them time to understand the deeper meaning. Like, you've had to understand the deeper root, the belief system that's under there. They might be treading water for a while before they actually remember, oh, I do have a life preserver on, and I can be pulled out, but I just needed to struggle for a minute.
Yeah, I think And that's the frustrating part about life is we want things now. We want, we want to be thin. We want to be perfect health. And I don't think that social media helps this at all because we sit there and compare,
Oh, yeah.
compare. Like, oh, that person has the perfect body and no health problems and she's able to raise her 4 kids, but we don't know what
Oh,
she's going through. But we're going to sit there and compare. And then what frequency does that comparison put us in?
Yes.
Right? We talked all about frequency the other
Yeah.
day, and I share that with my clients as well. The frequency. What frequency are you in? Because, a lot of because I'm in like that functional space, we talk about cortisol a lot. And anything below courage
Yes.
is a cortisol driven state. And
Yes.
cortisol is that catabolic hormone. And, in order to get above that, to turn off that cortisol, to create more serotonin, oxytocin that is going to blunt that cortisol, we need to raise our vibration.
Yeah.
We need to be creative.
Yes. Yes. We can't be creative if we're in the fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
You cannot use your lower limbic brain and your prefrontal cortex at the same time. It's one or the other.
Yep.
So our prefrontal cortex is for rational thinking. It's for reasoning. It's for being creative. Our lower limbic brain is for fight or flight, to run, to flee, to fawn. And if you're being chased by a wild bear, it's not time to sit down and have a deep conversation.
Or produce hormones and make babies.
Yes, exactly. Infertility, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All of these things are so important to calm the nervous system.
Yeah.
So, Jodi, you're a functional health practitioner. What else would you say is so important that you're teaching your clients now? Because this is why she's being certified in the mind body coaching world. What would you say is so important that you now know?
Yeah, I would say I'm always looking for tools to put in my toolbox to help the most difficult and trickiest cases. It's always fun when you get a client that their goals are XYZ and they come in, you do, what you think their body needs, and it happens. And you're like, perfect. Your body responded exactly how I wanted it to. Well, there's some that are stuck. There are some that are living in that lower frequency unknowingly. And, maybe it's their immune system. Like I just talked about how COVID really wreaked havoc. Well, why did COVID wreak havoc on their immune system and not this other person's immune system? What were they living in? And it can be too genetics, but genetics load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. There's epigenetics, we can turn off those genes. But yeah, I think just that mind body coaching has just been knocking on my door to implement this more and more in my line of work, because when women come to me and they're so highly dysregulated, I'm like, look, we can do the perfect protocol. We can do textbook things of how your body should be healing. But, and number one, I'm not a fly on their wall. I don't see exactly how they're executing these protocols. But yeah, I just couldn't get this nagging feeling that I needed to be able to express mind body better, articulate it better, help people understand it, make tangible tools for it.
Sure.
So yeah, I knew that this was just another huge tool in my toolbox that I needed to implement for these women, because the nervous system is everything. And our beliefs. Because when we have, someone can say, I'm not stressed, I'm a stay-at-home mom, I don't really have much going on, my kids are easy, they're at home they're at school all day, and all I gotta do is take care of some things around the house. I'm not stressed. Okay, but your body's showing otherwise. And you tell me every week about your beliefs, and I can see why now that you still have bloating and your cycle sucks and you have headaches and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So
fascinating to dig a little deeper, pull back those layers of the onion, see what's there, and then present that awareness to them. I mean, they're the ones opening up, they're the ones peeling back the layers, and they're the ones that have to have the aha moments before the healing comes. Right?
Yeah.
Love
and
it.
It's me just being a blind spotter. I just help spot people's blind spots.
Exactly. It's a beautiful work.
Yeah.
Right? It's easier to see someone else's blind spot than your own.
Oh, for sure. And that's why I still hire people. Coaches need coaches.
Yes, they do. Amen.
Yep.
Well, Jodi, what do you wish someone had said to you when you were at your sickest, for those listening?
Oh, Gall, I just probably needed like a big hug and that you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Just some love.
What does that do?
Yeah, creates oxytocin.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter today, actually, she would kill me if I share this, but it was tender to me. I could tell I had asked her to do some chores around the house and she was upset. She's 15. She's moody, you know, and I could tell she was like upset. And I was like, I can ignore this or I can ask her what's going on. And I said to her, what's going on? What are you upset about? And she just kind of let down and she was just like, I don't know. I think I'm about to, have a cycle, but I'm also like really upset about this little thing. And I said, do you just need a hug from your mom? And she just said, yes.
Oh.
And normally she would tell me no, but I was just like, oh, I'm so glad I asked.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I was aware and I was listening, but I feel like that's such a huge piece of this mind, body, spirit connection of being aware and asking, are you okay? And I feel like that energy check that we talked about is another aspect that we can ask ourselves. Are you okay? Do you need a hug?
Yeah.
Can I be there for you?
And then ask for a hug. I think that's what a lot of women kind of forget to advocate for themselves. It takes them to be in a lot of pain to reach out to someone like me and you who aren't covered by insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
And invest in themselves. It takes a lot, and I'm so proud of my clients that they do invest in themselves because so many women, I look around like when I'm like out and about or hanging out with different groups of people, like just I can tell people's energy of just like they're so unhappy with where they're at in their bodies. And, I think women just need to advocate for themselves. They just need to ask for help a little bit more.
Yep.
Yeah.
That creates so much healing. I know, sometimes you don't exactly get it from your husband. You need it from a friend. You need it from a coach. You need it from your own mom.
Yeah.
That little bit of nurturing is so important because it's just acknowledging that there is a need there. There is something lacking and there is a place to fill that love, that connection that's going to bring down the cortisol, put you back in homeostasis and provide the healing that you need. But you have to be able to be willing to ask for it.
Yes. Yeah. It's that connection that we all need. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to tell listeners today that you wished you had, that you needed back then?
Yeah, I would say like stop comparing myself. I don't know, that one's just been so on my mind lately. I had one client tell me she started the program. She's a beautiful client. She's 43. She had pulled herself off birth control. She has struggled with type 1 diabetes. She has a daughter with, I think it's autism, maybe. I apologize if you're listening to this and I got all this wrong. But she told me on a call, she's like, I got rid of social media and I've never felt better. And she's like excelling. So yeah, she deleted social media off of her phone and she's excelling through this program. Like her body's responding really well and she's patient. She's not sitting there comparing with other women. 'Cause I think that's what it's the hardest part is when the lack of patience and just like you can tell that people are still just comparing either just with other people or their past selves.
Sure.
Because that's, I think, one tricky thing is you're like, oh, I'm not looking at other women. I'm not comparing myself to other women. But are you comparing yourself to who you were like pre-baby?
Sure.
You're a different person now. Yeah. Like, yes, I get it. We want to be thin and healthy and we want to feel good in our skin. But there's a level of like just compassion that we have to have for ourselves because we are a different person.
Yeah.
So.
And trauma and pain is going to put you in a place where you are comparing yourself as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's like the biggest thing that's been on my mind lately is just because I think it's a mirror to me too. Like I'm human. I still work on this.
Oh, sure.
So
love it.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being here today, Jodi. I just want to close with sharing this little message that one of the greatest misconceptions about healing is that if you do the work, you'll never have another symptom. That's not what healing is. Healing isn't learning a life where your body never speaks again, because it is a messenger. Healing is learning a new relationship with your body. Symptoms may come and go because life is happening in seasons, stress changes, grief happens, relationships shift, hormones fluctuate. The difference is that you no longer spiral in fear.
Yep.
You become curious instead of catastrophic. You trust yourself. You know how to listen, respond, and move through the wave rather than being taken by it. And I shared this with you. I believe, you have these waves that you experience when you're first going through pain, through trauma, and they're just big, huge waves that you're navigating. And the highs are high and the lows are low, and you feel like you're never going to get out of it. But eventually they get smaller and smaller and smaller. And the lows are not as low as they used to be. And I love this image of the waves because it's true to how the nervous system works, right? You're experiencing these big waves, but as time goes on and awareness unfolds, the ripples are not as large and as deep. And the ocean doesn't stop making waves because the weather improves, right? But an experienced surfer doesn't panic every time one appears. They learn how to recognize it, adjust, and ride through it. And healing is much the same. The goal isn't a perfectly calm sea. That's unrealistic.
Very unrealistic.
It's becoming someone who knows how to navigate whatever the next wave brings. Reclaiming the power within doesn't mean controlling every circumstance. Yeah. It means developing the capacity to respond to them with wisdom instead of fear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Like the universe will always test us.
Yes, it will.
Yep, and this is where we learn. This is the lessons we learn when we sign on to these souls contracts that
yes.
we're here on earth for.
Yep, to overcome, to recognize, to be aware, and know that we are capable. Yep. So thank you for being here today. I appreciate it, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye. Thank you for being here with me today. If something in this episode resonated with you, just know that awareness is where our power begins. If you feel called, share this episode with someone who may need it. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue this journey with me. Until next time, keep listening inward. Your body, your intuition, and your truth already know the way.